The Cinemassacre truth has got its own monster madness, and this variety is made especially for asses. But whose reviews are better? Well, you might be surprised, cause ours are actually funny and they ain't plagiarized. So order up some McDonald's, bundle up tight. We're stabbing the garbage out of Saturday night.
Howling 3: The Marsupials is a 1987 horror movie about one of my favorite movie monsters, werewolves. I love werewolves. From the Wolfman to Teen Wolf, I love watching them and I'm good at talking about them using my words. Except the werewolves in this movie aren't wolves at all, because they're Australian, so they're Tasmanian tigers. The Tasmanian tiger was a large predatory marsupial that lived on the island of Tasmania until we fucking killed them all. The last one died in captivity in 1936. They were related to the Tasmanian devil and whatever the fuck these things are. This movie poses a question. What if some of them escaped extinction by taking the shape of the very species that was wiping them out? Just like the real people of Atlantis adapted to rising sea levels by turning into fish, and their ruins turned into ordinary rocks on the seafloor so those fuckheads at the British Museum couldn't have them. You might be asking, what happened in Howling 1 and 2? And the answer is, nothing that ever comes up again in any of the other movies. Like Halloween 3 and Troll 2, Howling 3 was when they said fuck it and just made it an anthology series. So you don't need to worry about it. If you're curious, Spoonie did a review of the Howling 2 Steerba Werewolf bitch. Yeah, I remember Spoonie. He hasn't made good content in over a decade. Unlike me. We meet Jerboa, a young woman living a pretty normal life in Australia when she decides to run away from her normal Australian dad.
I'll buy you a Sony Walkman if you behave yourself, Jerboa.
Just keep your filthy hands off me!
This priest picks her up and asks her why she's worrying her dad like that.
You should not run away from home.
I don't like home.
Why, child?
Because my stepfather tried to rape me and he's a werewolf.
That look on his fucking face, he has got no answer. Jerboa is fucking around in Sydney when she gets recruited out of nowhere by Donnie, an assistant director who wants her to play a werewolf in his horror movie. He's got a great eye for talent. Actually, before he recruits her, he has to chase her down and corner her. This is exactly how I found the actress to play the woman in the AVGN movie. It took a lot of tries before I found a woman who couldn't outrun my duck stomp. Daddy doesn't like that his little girl has run away, so he sends some werewolves disguised as nuns to go get Jerboa back. They didn't have a Bible handy, so this one brings the Necronomicon for crocodiles instead. Want to read that fucking thing? It isn't the full moon that changes these werewolves, it's flashing lights. Like you'd see in the outback all the time, of course. And the only way you can stop it is sex? Maybe? But not really? I don't know. The nuns find the wrap party for the movie Jerboa is in, but it's a costume party, so nobody notices anything weird. That's what you get for being too on the nose with your party theming. Jerboa gets hit by a car and taken to the hospital where they discover that she has a fucking pouch. They call a bunch of army guys as well as this professor of fucking werewolf studies or something. Oh yeah, this whole time there's been a subplot about Americans trying to catch werewolves fleeing from the collapsing Soviet Union. Because who gives a shit if Soviet nuclear bombs go missing? Where the fuck are those werewolves? You can't kill a werewolf with a nuclear bomb. Silver isn't fissile material. There's a police and army perimeter all around the hospital, but the nuns are just like, fuck that. They kill everyone and take back Jerboa, and even their fucking wimples are spotless for the bus ride home. This must have been a super badass fight that we never got to see. But I get it, sometimes you don't have time to shoot things. The professor is questioning Donnie and has some very funny questions.
Donnie, did you have sex with her?
Yes.
Was it normal?
Give me a break!
You know, maybe that was the only time Donnie ever had sex, so he has no context for what is and isn't normal. I would definitely not know how that feels. Hey, and speaking of Troll 2, her hometown is called Flo, which is wolf spelled backwards. Next, the professor is watching a ballet rehearsal for some reason, and this one dancer never stops pirouetting even as she turns into a werewolf. Well, she's just captured now. There's one more cool fight we never got to see.
It's really strong. Took a lot of men to catch whatever it is.
So yeah, there really are werewolves escaping the Soviet Union, it turns out, and this one has been summoned by Outback Dad to be his new bride. Back home, Jerboa gives birth, and the little abomination crawls right into her pouch. Christ, I don't think the Screenwave guys will even let me show this. Hey, Big Ryan, can I show a marsupial human fetus crawling through a pube forest into a flesh pouch to suckle upon beast milk?
Bimmy, get the fuck back to work! That's my money you're wasting!
Okay, I'm sorry. The dancer, Olga, escapes and runs off to Flo to get to the wedding on time. Meanwhile, the Australian army is staging a huge raid on the town. Alright, finally we're gonna see a cool fight. What the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen a movie that makes cooler promises and delivers lamer results. Jerboa didn't get captured because she already ran off with Donnie and this other werewolf named Candy. Candy is played by Burnham, an Aboriginal activist guy best known for sailing to Dover a year after this movie was made, planting a flag in it, and conquering England. The declaration he wrote is pretty fucking funny. Too bad the conquest didn't stick and he couldn't save the English people from beans on toast and deadly inbreeding. The baby is growing real fucking fast. I think I can finally show it to you now. I don't wanna, but I'm gonna. I had to watch this fucking cursed Muppet, now it's your turn. The professor has the hots for Olga, so he eventually helps her and all the other werewolves escape from the science lab they had them locked up in. Everyone just wants to run off and hide and start a new life, except for Outback Daddy who wants some revenge. He channels the primordial spirit of the Tasmanian tiger to transform himself into a giant fucking kaiju known as the Big One.
Help me change! Give me the strength! Help me change into the big one!
I have been promised a cool fight. Now, how are they gonna fuck this up? I gotta admit, that was more than I was expecting. It was only 5 seconds, but it was the only cool 5 seconds of this movie. The last 15 minutes of this movie are fucking bizarre. The Australian army guy calls off the chase despite all the people who died at the hospital, because even though the professor may be in love with a werewolf, at least he's not in love with a gay werewolf.
I think he fell in love with the Russian werewolf.
Was it female?
Yes.
Well, thank Christ for that.
Gotta get our priorities straight. We get a lot of glamour shots of the werewolves just living their lives in the outback. Donnie and Jerboa eventually decide to go strike it out on their own. When the professor and Olga return to society, the professor learns that they made it to Hollywood.
They changed their identities and looks a long time ago, and they stay that way. My mother gets enough attention nowadays without revealing she's a marsupial human. She's now known as Loretta Carson.
The actress?
Yeah, and Dad's a big director, Solly Spellenberg.
Wait, Donnie was Steven Spielberg this whole time? Oh man, I gotta ask my close good friend Steven Spielberg if this movie was based on a true story. I have a feeling I know what he's gonna say. Jerboa wins an Oscar. I wish I could win an Oscar. But anyway, she forgets that they're probably gonna have cameras at an award show. I'm not sure how she made it up the red carpet without noticing this, but oh boy, what a goof. So, like, does she kill everyone? Is Dame Edna dead? We will never know because that's how the movie ends.
Cut!
Final thoughts? You know, I think the people who made this movie didn't want to make a horror movie, or an action movie for that matter. I think they just had a lot of complicated thoughts about the Tasmanian tiger. Like, we killed that motherfucker. It's gone. And I guess it can be a comforting fantasy to imagine using super science or dark sorcery to make amends for what you've done, to rebuild those bridges you've burned, reconnect to those you did wrong to. Yeah.
Oh, I am very aware.